are live from Iverdance Sports Park in Edmonton, Alberta for the 2025 edition of the Canadian Ultimate Championship Junior Division. My name is Etienne Fournier. We'll have the great pleasure of hosting this second webcast here today. And I will not be alone. I will have the great pleasure of sharing the mic with Jen Beck. How are you, Jen?
I'm doing pretty good, Etienne. This is my game number 2 of the morning, so looking forward to seeing another exciting game in the women's division.
So let's make that a Canadian statement. Let's talk about the weather to start with. It's kind of they're forecasting no rain today, even though there was a few showers, very, very light shower early this morning. But it's the wind that might be tricky to play with because it comes in forms of a gust here at Iverdance Sports Park.
Absolutely. I feel the wind pushing at my back as you were describing it. So while our last game it went a bit more left to right on the field, right now it's gusting pretty strong away from the camera right now. So on the sideline where most of the players are standing, it's pushing into their faces pretty hard over there.
So game number 2 on the web stream on day number 1. Jen, who are the two teams that will have the great privilege of watching here today?
We have two teams both in their second game of the day. So it looks like in the blue we have Titane, who will be pulling to start. They had one game this morning against Storm where they were able to come out on top 15-2. And on the receiving side in white is Chain Reaction. Their first game this morning, they came out against the number 1 seed in the tournament, Dino, and ended up with a score of 2-13 in that game.
Bienvenue à tous à cette deuxième web diffusion du championnat canadien d'Ultimate. On est dans la division junior. On a l'immense privilège, moi et Jen, de partager le micro pour regarder ce match qui oppose Titane du Québec contre Chain Reaction de l'Ontario. Chain Reaction qui porte les chandails blancs, Titane et les chandails bleus foncés. Revirement, turnover. Tout juste dans la zone rouge, la numéro 12. Mia Guilbeault avec le disque. On enchaîne rapidement. Ça flotte au levant qui porte le disque, mais c'est bien rattrapé par la numéro 4, Maëva Lupien, pour inscrire le premier point de ce match. Titane qui inscrit le premier point gris, 1-0 pour l'équipe québécoise.
Great job by Titane on the turnover there to quickly set up in their end zone set and really make some great decisions with the disc. And heads up play by number 4 to be able to pull down that throw in the end zone that may not have been for her originally, but gets on the stats sheet.
That's one thing we expect from these two teams. When there's a turnover near the end zone, you need to convert quick and fast and clean. Alors, comme vous l'avez constaté, on va passer de l'anglais au français, du français à l'anglais. So we'll go back and forth, French to English, English to French, all through this web stream. So nonetheless, we are sure that even if you're not comfortable with the other language, you will enjoy the show just like we do. Alors, comme vous l'avez constaté, on passera du français à l'anglais. Peut-être si vous êtes moins familier en anglais, on est certain que vous saurez apprécier le spectacle auquel on assiste ici aujourd'hui. So, Jen, there's approximately 1,000 athletes taking part in that national championship in the 2 divisions. There's the open divisions and the women's division.
And we have 24 teams in each division here this year. So great opportunity to get lots of games in against potentially teams you may not have seen all season, teams from across the country.
Chain Reaction with the disc against Titane's zone defense. Floaty disc, but blocked by number 12, Mia Guilbeault. Still, once again in the red zone, but miscuing towards her teammate Soli Mayotte. Durham with a redemption opportunity for this offense hold. Just a little too high, but way to go by number 10, Ana de la Mota, saving that disc. Durham in the red zone. Players have 10 seconds to attempt a pass. Otherwise, it's a turnover. Still trying to get some movement here. 74. Kaylin Ayong with the disc. Tons of traffic in front of her. Tons of wind also. They're going upwind. Floaty disc, but defended by Camille Héroux, which had a clear height advantage on that. Titane qui contre-attaque. Guilbeault avec le disque donne des consignes. Vraiment à la latérale à Héroux. On enchaîne rapidement tout près du point de brique. Et il y a eu un appel. Was it foul call?
I think a down call called
Was
by
it
the
down
chain
call?
reaction defender.
Alors, on vous rappelle que les joueuses ont 10 secondes pour tenter une passe. Sinon, ben, c'est un revirement et c'est ce qui est l'appel ici qui a été fait. And Jen, we have the opportunity of having 2 observers here today. So what are the observers' role?
So observers there can definitely contribute to timekeeping, in and out of bounds calls, force out fouls. They have the option on calls like this, such as a down call, where the players can choose to ask for the observer, which is happening right now where they're touching their shoulders. The observer can make the ruling on the call, or players can just decide to contest a call or not. So it looks like it's just going back to the thrower here. So maybe it was held as a contested call.
Ultimate Frisbee is a self-appreciated sport, but we introduced the observers throughout the years to make the game with a little more rhythm. Because sometimes you play with passion, so sometimes there's arguing. Sometimes.
Absolutely.
And here today we have 2 observers, but you can have up to 4 observers during a game. But some games have none. So it depends, of course, on the observers' staff availability. Alors, on a tenté la passe là, du côté de Titane. Ça atterrit profondément dans la zone de chain reaction. Et ça sera un revirement en faveur de chain reaction. Là. Vous entendez le vent là, au travers nos micros. So it's becoming very, very gusty here in Edmonton. Zone defense played by Titane, trying to contain and force chain reaction to a high number of passes, which will hopefully end up as a turnover. That's the challenge for the white jerseys. Keep the disc alive, try to move forward, which is, believe me, not an easy task in those conditions. Here it is, pass that was caught up with the wind, going up and caught by Viviane Ouellet. But turnover by chain reaction, trying to quickly counter, but the wind decides otherwise. Titane, possession du disque, on tente la passe longue, c'est bien attrapé par le numéro 51, Clara Ray, qui joue entre autres avec sa sœur, Amelia Ray, sur l'alignement de Titane. Une passe qui a été attrapée par la numéro 13, Mayotte. C'est pas la destinataire, mais peu importe. Au bel attrapé d'une main Guilbeault, encore une fois, qui se démarque. Elle agit comme un peu la corps arrière là, de cette formation. On sent qu'on est un peu plus patient là, du côté de Titane. Oh, la passe était un peu basse. C'est Hébert là, qui a une bonne décision, mais l'exécution était un peu basse. So kind of a low pass leading to a turnover in favor of Durham.
Another chance for a chain reaction here against the Titane zone.
Kind of the corner of death. You squeeze on your own goal line in the corner and you're trapped with the zone defense. It's not a good place to be. Titane taking the disc back, going around the mark. It's in the hole, but the wind is picking it up out of bound. Turnover favoring Durham. Still at their own goal line. We were talking about the corner of death. Well, there's 2 corners of death. Not a pleasant place to be. There's a timeout call, great call by Durham. Just need to regroup to say, hey, girls, let's have a chat. How are we going to handle this? How are we going to get out of this trap?
Yeah, I think the first possession chain reaction had against that zone. They did a really good job of finding those like 7 to 10 yard throws upfield, and they were able to move the disc pretty well there. And then they just had that last one that they tried to stretch it a little bit further. The wind caught up. But I think kind of getting back into that idea of looking for something a bit more upfield, have your downfield players look to move that containing area of the zone around a little bit to make a hole for your eventual receiver to jump into. It's probably going to work well for them. They are in a tight spot right now because not only are they on the corner in the end zone line, but the wind is pushing the disc out of bounds from there. So where their last corner throw was pushed at least back into the middle of the field, these potentially are going to be hard to grab inbounds if they end up with something high in the high stall count.
So chain reaction already suffered from one break point. And stance pressure is tough to handle. Titane is a program that started 10 years ago. Can you believe it? Already 10 years ago. They have a women's and a men's division in the junior. They have developed a ton of players in the province of Quebec, mainly in the Montreal area, but all through the province. So congratulations for their 10th anniversary. Alors, le 10e anniversaire du programme Titane, là, qui a été formé il y a 10 ans par Johan Barry. Félicitations. Avec une merveilleuse équipe d'entraîneurs, on va y revenir dans quelques instants. The Ram keeping the disc alive, but going deeper into their own end zone. Finding some room, some breathing room with some quick disc movement. Earning some precious yardage. Going long, but it's floating and it will land out of bounds. Titane will pick it up on the sideline. So this 2025 Canadian Ultimate Championship will last 3 days, Monday, Tuesdays, and the finals on Wednesdays in both divisions. We'll have a ton of web stream live to share with you. Floaty disc, well read and well caught by Clara Ray. Sur la porte des points, vraiment rapidement. Est-ce que ça a été attrapé? On attend la confirmation. C'est confirmé par les observateurs Titane qui inscrit non seulement le deuxième point du match, mais un deuxième point brille pour la formation québécoise. It's 2-0 for Titane.
Great read on the disc there by the Titane player. I also want to point out number 12, Gubo. Seems to be a really calm, confident handler for them. She's always available for those resets, very comfortable picking up the disc in the wind after those turnovers, and seems to be a great anchor player for that team going forward. I think she was actually out for the first 2 points, so we'll see if she'll be out there again with them.
How impressive is that composure at such a young age? Well, that's one thing you can expect to see throughout these web stream and throughout this tournament. There's a ton of talent, young talent, Canadian talent, and on the international scene, the junior division, regardless if it's U18 or U20 or U24, even last summer, are doing extremely well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some hardware on the international scene.
It's even great to see the first year of the U17 and U20 teams at the Pan Am Championships and splitting into those Canada East and Canada West teams, so giving even more players opportunity to, one, represent Canada, but also gain that valuable international experience at a young age.
Impressive pull by Titane, landing into the Rams' red zone. Titane, no surprise, going back with a kind of a poachy in defense with lots of talking coming from the sideline, forcing the Ram in the middle, but miscued. Meredith Short could not get her hands on that disc. Turnover by for Titane near the brick mark. La numéro 2, Tousignan, avec la 10, remet à droite, à quelques verges d'un troisième point potentiel pour la formation québécoise. Un bel enchaînement en soutien pour ensuite trouver Tousignan du côté gauche. And quickly Titane scoring their third point of the game, 3 break point.
It was a great clean hold or clean break for Titane once they had possession of the disc there. The last time through, they think had probably 4 or 5 possessions right at the end zone where they had throws that were just out of reach of their receivers. So it's great to see that getting that one turnover and being able to convert right away. Ideally not dragging those D points on too long so they can keep their fresh legs out on their defensive lines.
So Titane and Chain Reaction are in the same pool of this Canadian Ultimate Championship. They're sharing it with Dino from BC and also Newfoundland Storm. So as you mentioned, there's 24 teams in the women's division, 24 teams in the men's division. So Pool M is probably with the Dino, which has been a powerhouse in Ultimate and Junior Ultimate in the country for many years.
Yeah.
They have an impressive program developing impressive athletes in both in the men's and the women's division. So is Titane. But Dino has been the powerhouse. But who knows who will go back home with some gold medal around their neck. Looking forward to find the answer. But in the meantime, Titane, avec le lancer d'engagement, atterri à la ligne de briques. Chain reaction. It's a one-to-one kind of poachy defense played by Titane. Finding the hole for the white jerseys, going upward, crossing the midfield mark. Pass from Avarel was a little too intense to handle, landing on a turnover. Titane put it long, but could not connect. Durham at their own goal line. That's kind of what you want if you're playing defense. Put it long, force the O-line to work the wind up. But another turnover in favor of Titane. Gagné avec le disque qui alimente Ray, Amalia Ray. Bien patiente, rapidement. Oh oui, un très bel enchaînement ici, la numéro 5, Couillard, qui va rejoindre sa coéquipière. Là, malheureusement, on ne voit pas son nom. La numéro 10, McCarthy. Et c'est le 4e point de Titane. 4-0 for the Quebec-based team.
It's another great break from the Titane group. I really liked how they were able to use the width of the field to gain that break there. Instead of trying to force something in tight off of that original pass, which was just a couple steps outside the end zone, they were able to reset to the middle, swing to the other side, and then had a really open receiver in the end zone. I think, do we have a timeout call here?
Yes, a timeout call by Chain Reaction. Looking to regroup. They have suffered the last 4 points, four break points. Credit to Titane, who's been playing, which have an expensive and very extensive and very talented group of trainers. I personally have the opportunity of working with Philippe Tivierge. He's a very engaged and a very experienced player on the Canadian and international scene. He was playing on the Master, or the Grandmaster World Championship last November, which he won the gold medal for Canada. So congratulations to Philippe Tivierge. Il y a aussi Iwan Kohana, Johan Barry et Sophie Lyonnais. Sophie Lyonnais qui était avec l'équipe U24 en Espagne au mois de juin. So Sophie Lyonnais was coaching Titane. She was with the U24 team in Spain for the World Championship where Canada finished, is it 4th or 5th? I'm not sure, but there was a tough loss against Japan in a superb and well-fought game, which they ended up losing. You know how tough it is to win twice against the same team during the same tournament. Canada has played against Japan earlier in the tournament. They won by 1 point, and later in the game for the semifinal, they lost by 1.
Yeah, those rematches are always tough, especially if it was a close game or a game within reach the first time, because if you come out on that losing end, you're very much like, oh, we just need to make this adjustment and this adjustment, and then it all depends on how that other team adjusts back. Yeah. So hopefully Chain Reaction comes out here with a couple good adjustments to their offense. Hopefully can punch in their first point of the game.
So the wind kind of goes sideways, but a quick turnover. Titane avec une opportunité d'un autre prix. C'est Guilbeault qui prend en charge de cette initiative, mais malheureusement, le disque n'est pas attrapé par Mayotte. Going long, floaty, but a few yards out of reach of number 5, Meredith Short. So now it's Titane who will have to work their way up the field against the Ram zone defense. So a quick dish to Guilbeault. Going long with a flick, floaty disc. Well caught by Alba. Big counter by Chain Reaction. Looking to reset. Big with the disc, floaty disc, but well handled by Jackson on the open side, feeding a Young. Good possession by the white jerseys. Chain Reaction looking to score their first point of the game. Floaty on the break side, and it's confirmed by the observers. And what a reaction by Chain Reaction after scoring their first point of the game. They're trailing 1-4, but still maybe some momentum in favor of the white jerseys.
Absolutely. They had a lot of energy coming onto the field after that point. It's great vision by Bick to see that receiver, who I think came from the back of the stack for that shot there into the end zone. Was able to throw that OI backhand over the handler that was out and able to pull that first score in to get the Chain Reaction D-line out.
So for those who are less familiar with the sport, well, as you can see, we're playing 7-on-7. You have to make a pass to a teammate in the end zone in order to score a point. You have 10 seconds to attempt a pass. If not, it's a turnover. And the first team reaching the 15-point mark wins the game unless we are running out of time. There is a halftime after one of the two teams reaches the 8-point mark, or unless the points are a little longer, then we'll have a halftime after, I think it's 40 minutes, if I'm 45 minutes. Thanks for correcting me.
I'm just going by what Clay said in the last game, so assuming Clay is correct.
If
which
Clay
he
says
is.
it must be true. Chain Reaction avec le lancer d'engagement. Beau lancer d'engagement là, qui termine sa course à la ligne de briques gagnée. Reçoit la passe zone défensive jouée par l'équipe représentante de Durham en Ontario. Un beau passé court ici là, de la numéro 2, Tousignan. Et gagné. Oh, un beau mouvement ici. Là, il laisse très peu de temps la transition en défensive 1 pour 1 de la part de Durham. C'est maintenant Ray avec le disque. La latérale à Verlan. Oh, mauvaise communication ici. Là. La passe est destinée à Couillard, but miscued. And break opportunity for Durham, their first of the game. 1-to-1 defense played by Titane. Floated this. Caught. Was not the intended receiver, nonetheless. But the disc now lands into Gagné's hand. Revirement en faveur. C'est le numéro 7 qui intercepte cette passe. Verlan qui alimente Van Hove. Van Hove avec la passe. Oh, ça a été bloqué. Nice defense by Melissa Han. Great reading.
That was a great
The Ram
heads-up plan.
with another break opportunity at their own goal line. Around pass. Intercepted par Verlan qui rapidement va compléter le jeu avec le 5e point de Titane. Et c'est une possession offensive maintenue 5-1 en faveur de Titane contre Chain Reaction.
A great heads-up play by Titane on defense there. They were able to not only knock down, but actually catch quite a few of those chain reaction throws that went a little too high and were a little too floaty, which in win like this is a great strategy to have. We don't want to be trying to knock something down and then it still goes into the hand of the player that we don't want. So able to catch that defensive play and then convert it quickly for another score.
So Jen, we usually thank people in the organization at the end of the web stream and when no one listens, but I'm going to do it now when everybody is listening.
now is a
So
great
I'd like
time.
to thank all Ultimate Canada organization and all the volunteers taking part in that great event, setting up the fields, setting up the site, organizing everything. I'd like also to thank all the parents that all the chaperones for all these teams, making sure their kids are subscribed, they've paid their stuff, they put their toothbrush into their luggage, they put their cleats also into their luggage, that they water themselves throughout the tournament. Also all the trainers that spend so much time training these kids. So a huge kudos to all of you. Et entre-temps, Titane là, qui reprend possession après avoir fermé l'initiative de Durham, là, que je crois fait vraiment des passes longues là, pour forcer Titane. Et là, on a vu là, un appel, il y a eu contact. On appelle la faute. So there was a foul call, some discussion around, and see the observers are standing by. As Jen mentioned, the observers are passive. You need to reach out to them when there's a call, an argued call, but they will be active on the line calling. So if you catch the disc in or out, they will actively call it. But for those discussions, in this instance, there was a foul call. They will wait for the players to reach out to them.
They will encourage players to stay within the time limits as well. So to keep that, well, I thought it was this, and then the other player shares their perspective, and then the first player will share the same perspective again, just in different words, and then it can go back and forth for several minutes. So,
and in addition to that, there's the commentary team,
Yes.
which have their own perspective, which is probably the last, we're so far away, but still very close, but,
we have a different viewpoint than anyone on the field
Absolutely.
right now.
So it was rule a contested
Yeah.
foul, so it goes back to the thrower. Titane, beau mouvement ici. Encore une fois, Mia Guilbeault qui prend les choses en main. Mayotte. Guilbeault qui passe et court. Bon là, la passe était pas une bonne décision, mais l'exécution était trop basse. Durham countering. Oh, miscued. Number 7 provided a great cut in, but the wind put the disc down. Zone defense by Durham. Guilbeault cherche l'ouverture, retient son geste, remet en soutien. Titane sur sa propre ligne de poing. Belle feinte ici. On gagne du temps. C'est Héroux avec le disque qui est en support à sa coéquipière là, qui est coincée dans le coin de la mort. Oh, belle passe ici. Une belle détente. Là, tu as le sol pour trouver l'ouverture. Et là, la contre-attaque de Titane se terminera en milieu de terrain. Turnover for Chain Reaction. Alba Bic putting the disc back into play right in the middle. Finds Coligan. On her left. Bick attacking the line. Great cutting. Going long. Floaty disc, but a little too low. And great awareness by Titane's Sanogo Bergeron. Léonie de son prénom. Encore une fois, Titane dans le coin de la mort. Et là, on appellera un temps d'arrêt. Timeout call by Titane. We know that Chain Reaction have called a timeout earlier in this game, and they were stuck right in the exact same spot.
Yeah, this looks familiar. Do you expect that Chain Reaction is going to come out and try and trap in a zone in this corner as well?
Well, I cannot think of a reason why they would not do so. So it's kind of an obvious choice considering the wind condition that we have tonight and the success that they had so far with their zone defense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I guess, Jen, the way I'm seeing things is that Stan was able to take advantage of those very near the end zone turnover opportunity. They were just able to convert, which led to a 5-1 point so far in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with Titane, they have the handlers that are confident to make those breakthrows into the wind. So getting the disc closer towards the camera here is something they're going to be a little bit more comfortable with and have shown to be so far. So I think that's kind of the big difference maker in this game, is that those throws coming in this direction are typically a little easier for the receivers to catch, where with Chain Reaction, they have to make that adjustment that they don't pop up quite as high as they have been. But we'll see what happens here. It does look like they're setting up in a zone.
So the disc will be back into play. We'll have to put it in. Here we are. Titane coincé encore une fois. Une très belle détente. What a nice roll. Low release by Guilbeault. Finding the holes in the Rams zone. Quick movement upward. Guilbeault still in charge. Seems unstoppable in that action. Titane near the end zone. Couple of yards shy of their 6th point of the game. Nice little flick, tons of open space on the open side, but unfortunate miscue by the Quebec squad, leading to a turnover. Durham near their own goal line, going long, and it's caught. Number 5 on the receiving end, mirrored it short. Durham threatening, great distance, great layout, but just a little short. Number 5, which happens to be her last name also. Short, fell short. Yes, I said it. Titane à sa propre ligne de points. Encore une fois, zone défensive. Voir si Guilbeault va s'en sortir encore une fois avec un lancer bas. Mais il va plutôt du revers en soutien. Encore une fois, cherche l'ouverture dans cette zone étanche jouée par Durham. Il va avec le lancer marteau. Et c'est presque attrapé par la numéro 4. Mais ça a été well defended by Warner. Taking that unfortunate high release by number 8, and still the win. Just driving the disc down. Guilbeault avec une détente encore une fois très très basse à ras le sol pour gérer le vent. Là, a good second and third effort by number 11 in order to make the D. Warner.
I think Warner got the last one as well.
Absolutely. Durham going long in the end zone. Durham scoring their 2nd point of the game. It's an offense hold by the Durham base team. The score, Titane 5, Chain Reaction 2.
I think Chain Reaction showed a lot better movement on offense in that point. They definitely rely on Mick a lot in terms of keeping the disc moving, looking for upfield options, and being a reliable reset. And then Colligan, who got the assist on that point, I think did a great job cutting for them on the team. Earlier in this very long point, Colligan was open for some big gainers upfield and in the end zone. It was being just overthrown, but was able to provide good release off of that huck a possession ago and got the assist on that point too. So great job, Colligan.
So we are already 32 minutes into this game, getting near the halftime break. One thing I've been steady throughout this game, and it's the win.
It's still gusting, still pretty consistent in direction from when the game started, so kind of away from the camera and to the right a bit. So Titane a little bit on the downwind side for this point. They have the wind at their backs, but going to probably continue to try to work up this side of the field. The last couple points, they've definitely been able to get that break over to this side and then kind of run through their players to move the disc quickly down this way as well.
Lancé d'engagement de Durham, zone en défensive de l'équipe Chain Reaction. On contourne la marque. Oh, la passe malheureusement là, qui était un peu dans les jambes. Le numéro 52, Charret ne peut la maîtriser. Break opportunity for the white jerseys. Nice disc movement. Quickly earning some precious yardage. Resetting backward midfield. Looking for an option. Going straight in the middle, but miscuing. Intended receiver was Jackson. Titane quickly moving forward. Midfield. Nice. Wicked flick right in the middle. Now in the red zone. Floaty flick. Finding number 6, Camille Tremblay. Titane confirmed their 6th point of the game, securing their 4-point lead. Still in this first half of this second webcast team here today. Canadian Ultimate Championship Junior Division in Edmonton.
Yeah, Titane able to show again some quick movement. They had that turnover originally, but once they got the disc back, efficiently moved it down the field, and their whole team hustling down. So they already had, I think, 3 players kind of setting up a stack in the end zone, and then that receiver coming in from the far side and being able to catch that nice pass over the top of that stack almost into the back of the end zone where they were uncovered.
Alors, Titane qui confirme son avance de 4 points, mène maintenant 6-2. On est déjà à la 35e minute de ce match. On s'approche de la mi-temps. Donc, si après 45 minutes de jeu, aucune des équipes a atteint le pointage de 8, on prendra une pause mi-temps pour donner l'opportunité aux 2 équipes de changer de côté de terrain. On sait que les équipes alternent de chacun des côtés après chaque point. Mais évidemment, si une équipe qui commence le match avec le vent dans 2, elle est avantagée. Donc, c'est pour ça qu'on veut s'assurer une parité de conditions climatiques. La Chain Reaction, là, qui, après avoir souffert là, les 4 premiers points, là, ben là, on s'échange les points là, depuis les derniers instants. So both teams have been exchanging points after Titane taking a 4-0 lead. Now we're trading blows. Miscued by Chain Reaction. Titane en contre-attaque. Une opportunité de bris peut-être de se forger une avance de 5 points. On enchaîne bien du côté ouvert. C'est Ray avec le 10. À la carrière, Guilbeault qui parle à ses joueuses, donne des directives. Et on voit la belle chimie là, ici. Là. On alimente Héroux, puis rapidement, on a un tracé d'améliorer pour la suite des choses. Et voilà, c'est le numéro 24, Viviane Ouellette, qui inscrit le 7e point pour Titane. C'est un point pris. Break point by the Titane squad, taking a 5-point lead in this first half.
I did like on Chain Reaction's offensive possession that time, they did try and look to this break side. Originally, the pass was not executed as they expected, but at least they're trying to get to this side of the field here instead of just jamming things up and getting into that situation where the wind's going to take the disc out of bounds. So I like their looks. Their spacing seems good. Their movement seems good. It's just a little bit of that throwing and catching execution in the wind that they're struggling with right now. So hopefully they'll get some time in this last point and into halftime, maybe get a couple more reps in the wind. Because the wind did pick up like as the game started, so this is gustier than what they warmed up in. So hopefully they'll be able to work out those little execution kinks and get a few more points on the board as the game continues.
So if I'm not mistaken, Chain Reaction took a timeout when they were trailing by 4, and they were able to score their first point, and ever since, the 2 teams have exchanged points, and that's the first, as I was mentioning that they were trading points, then Titane scored 2 consecutive points, with the latest one being a break. So when we say a break, for those who are not familiar with the sport, is whenever you start the point by doing the pool or starting the point on defense, and that you end up scoring the point. That's what we call a break, which is very similar to tennis. Whenever who's on serve, you expect who's on serve to win the game. Durham, great movement upward. Nice flick with a nice catch by, I think it's number 33, Abigail Tao. Tao offering herself as a reset, but going up. Nice grab hand with a ton of pressure on defense by Titane. One hand grab by number 12, Watson. Moving upward in the sweet spot. Floaty disc. It's everybody's frisbee, but it lands on the ground. Some discussion, but no call. Titane will take possession back at their own goal line. The handler decides, I'm going to establish my pivot foot without walking back to the line, which is something you can do if you want to put the disc back into play quickly. Le numéro 13, Mayotte, avec le disque. Échange avec Couillard. Oh, belle interception dans le numéro 1, Han. Counter by the Durham squad. Waiting for an option. Going safe on the reset. Right in the middle. Try to organize things up in the stack. Pass and run. But holding it back by number 74, A. Young. Great catch by Watson on near the goal line, giving some direction. Nice pivot, nice fake, going around, resetting, feeding A. Young. Flick, pass and run, but it's number 1, Melissa Han, if I'm not mistaken, catching the disc for chain reaction. 3rd point hanging in there from the Durham base squad, trailing by 4.
It's a great point by Melissa Han, and even the last few points that Melissa's been on the field, been making a lot of defensive plays, been really reliable in that handler space, and even looking to gain some yards quickly off of those turnovers. I've always seen Han being one that's busting downfield quickly and then turning around for like that 15-yard gainer for them, as opposed to just hanging back, maybe throwing something laterally. Ended up with getting on the stats board for that point.
So as you mentioned, I really felt the ramp was more engaged into that when they were hosting the disc. Lots of great pass and run and engaged pivot also. Trying
they seem to be
go around their mark.
A bit more aggressiveness, a bit more confidence right now. Like, I think the first few points, maybe some nerves, knowing that their game's being on the live stream. Might be the first time for some of those players to be in a streamed game and had some nerves to shake off. So seems like they've got a bit more confidence right now. They have a chance now to potentially push this half a little bit longer, maybe get a break before we get to halftime. They have a little bit of wind right now in their favor.
So maybe for many of these players, it's the first time they're taking a flight to go play Ultimate. Maybe it's the first time they're being streamed. First time attending a Canadian championship. So lots of things to sink in.
Offside
Titane.
called here, but
Réception de service avait après un excellent lancer d'engagement là, qui a atterri. Oh là, ça a passé très très près de l'interception. Et là, voici l'interception. Well read by Meredith Short. Pivoting, looking for an answer. Quick dish to teammate. Pick. Few yards away from a break point. And here it is, converted through the hands of Miley Jackson. First break point by chain reaction, now trailing by 3 late in this first half.
yeah, great hustle down on defense. I know there was observers calling offside on the pull. Players don't necessarily have to take that advantage there, but I think there was a bit of confusion coming down off of the pull by both teams, which might have led to that run through defensive play that gained chain reaction their possession there. Kind of a little bit of deja vu for Bick's throw there. It looked very similar to that first point that chain reaction scored. That nice OI backhand to the back corner to find a wide open teammate.
So if I'm not mistaken, I think the observers decided that this is the halftime break, even though we see the Durham squad on the goal line.
Maybe a timeout was called.
Oh, it's a timeout call. Late in this first half, Titane just suffered their first break point of the game. So we really feel that Durham squad being more and more confident and more hungry for the disc. Much more confidence than what we have witnessed earlier in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of hustle coming down off of the pull. Even their team like sprinting onto the field after they score, keeping that energy high.
And the Titane squad, they're still in the driver's seat from a score perspective. But hey, you need to stay aware. Who knows what can happen in those windy conditions? Alors, Titane qui vient de prendre un temps d'arrêt, est toujours à l'avance 7-4. Ils viennent de subir leur premier point bris, alors qu'ils en avaient infligé 4 à Chain Reaction. Titane vient de subir son premier point bris tard dans cette première mi-temps. Et là, comme on le disait plus tôt, Titane qui a inscrit les 4 premiers points. Après ça, on s'est échangé les points. Et Titane qui inscrit le 7e point, qui est un point bris. Et les 2 derniers points appartiennent à Chain Reaction, qui s'accroche sur de l'arrière par 3, mais vraiment qui ont gagné en confiance et en qualité d'exécution au cours des derniers instants. Titane, voilà, on a provoqué un peu, on a allé un peu trop vite, le Tousignan qui n'a pu compléter sa passe, et c'est un revirement en faveur de Chain Reaction with a potentially a second break point in this half, but it's blocked by number 73, Héroux. Verlan qui tente de connecter rapidement, mais ça manque un peu de précision, et là, le vent a définitivement joué un rôle sur la direction de ce 10, alors qu'on a vraiment des bourrasques de vent très intenses. So the wind is picking it up. Han going upwind. Watson cannot handle it, so turnover in favor of Titane. It's confirmed, yes, a goal by Titane, passe by Couillard qui donne le 8e point. Et la première mi-temps à Titane, so halftime will go to Titane, leading 8-4 against Chain Reaction. So we really see, we witness a great kind of a comeback, at least from an execution standpoint and an attitude standpoint from the white jersey, which make that game even more exciting. But still, in the meantime, Titane in the driver's seat with a 4-point lead. So we'll take a short break, and we'll be right back in a couple of minutes for the second half of this game, Titane against Chain Reaction. On va prendre une courte pause, on sera de retour pour cette deuxième mi-temps. Titane qui mène 8-4 contre Chain Reaction de l'Ontario. À tout de suite.
I love working with a team towards a common goal.
For the camaraderie.
Camaraderie and playing with my teammates.
I play for my team.
Teamwork and the connections that I can build on and off field.
For the community and the exercise.
Because of the community and the competition.
I like playing Ultimate Frisbee for the competition.
I play for the competition and the fun.
For fun.
Because fun.
I love getting to work hard.
You get out of it what you put into it.
Leave everything out here.
Every time I step on the field, I want to be a better player.
You know, give something people to talk about.
Be happy but never satisfied. To step away from real life and focus on Frisbee.
I play because I love Ultimate.
Find your drive.
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 Petite entrevue de mi-temps. On a le privilège d'être avec Abigail Verland, la numéro 88 de Titane. Abigail, vous avez eu un très, très bon début de match, inscrivant 4 points bris consécutifs. Mais là, on a senti Chain Reaction revenir un peu. Là. Puis il y a eu un temps d'arrêt qui a été appelé. Qu'est-ce qui s'est dit dans ce temps d'arrêt-là?
Au début, quand ils ont pris leur temps mort, on était un peu stressés, mais on voulait quand même continuer à pousser puis essayer de les forcer à prendre plus de bris et de passer à travers la zone. Ça a fonctionné à quelques reprises, donc on est assez contente avec ça.
Et quel est votre objectif? Est-ce que vous allez apporter des ajustements pour cette deuxième mi-temps?
Ça dépend vraiment de eux. S'ils continuent à faire de la zone, on va encore essayer la même stratégie. Ça fonctionne à date, donc on est assez contente. Puis juste essayer de mettre le plus d'efforts possible pour la demi.
On va te souhaiter le meilleur succès pour cette deuxième mi-temps avec la gestion du vent, là, qui est tout un défi. On souhaite bonne continuité dans le match et dans le tournoi. Merci Abigail.
Merci.
So halftime interview with she's wearing number 5 for Chain Reaction. Merited, short, merited. Yes, I've said it. You were short. Short was short. I've said it during the. So I need to highlight that. I don't know why, but nonetheless. So you guys have suffered 4 break points to kick off the game, but
Yeah.
you guys have you came back, and we've witnessed just like the attitude, the confidence with the disc. What was told? Well, how did you handle that?
Well, I feel like there's a lot of really spirited players on our team, so we're able to like hype each other up, and it really helps when someone's down. You're just like, you got the next one. They're like, yeah, I do.
That's a great attitude to have in this national championship.
Yeah.
So, what do you intend to do in this second half in order to close the 4-point gap you're suffering from versus Titane?
If we keep up the attitude, then we can definitely make that comeback. And if we just play really hard and kind of like estimate where they're going, so like we can kind of beat them to their next move, you know? Yeah. So we're gonna win.
We're wishing you the best for that. So, thank you very much for coming up.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you very much, and wishing you the best of luck for this game and for the remaining of the tournament.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nous sommes de retour à Edmonton pour la suite de ce match. On fait partie du championnat canadien d'Ultimate Junior. Privilège de partager avec vous le match opposant Titane du Québec contre Chain Reaction de l'Ontario. So we are back here in Edmonton. This live webcast featuring Titane from the province of Quebec against Chain Reaction from Ontario. It's Fournier welcoming you with Jess Beck. Jen Beck. I called you Jess. I just did.
That's all right. That's all right. You're forgiven this time.
This time. So Chain Reaction wearing the white jerseys on your right hand side. Titane on the receiving end of this pool wearing the dark jerseys. Titane affronte la zone jouée par Durham. Rapidement, on gagne des verges. Van Hove trouve l'espace. Oh, petite passe flottante. Manqué un peu précipité, c'est le revirement. Turnover in favor of Durham. Titane winning the first half 8-4. Miscued, unfortunate by the Ontario-based team. Tremblay remet le disque en jeu. Van Hove pivote bien. Rejoint Tousignan rapidement à Tremblay. Et on convertit en trouvant Verlaine dans la zone de 2 points. C'est un 9e point inscrit par Titane qui sécurise cette possession offensive. Il mène maintenant 9-4 en d'entrée de jeu dans cette deuxième mi-temps.
Great find by Tremblay in the end zone. For that point there, I think first possession, Titane did a fantastic job up until right before the end zone line where they just tried to rush things a little too much. So it was nice to see them take a little extra breath on that second possession and make sure they had that shores shot to finish that point off. So we still have Chain Reaction running out to the field for every point they're playing here. They're still really trying to focus on keeping that energy high through this game, and it's their first chance on offense here in the second half, and it's going still a bit downwind here, so hopefully they continue that momentum that they start to build in the second half of the first half into this half and be able to get some holds and then try and get that break or two that Short talked about in halftime. See if they can get themselves back into this game.
So Meredith Short, she said it at the halftime interview, we're going to win the game. Oh, we're trailing by 4. Yeah, whatever. What's your point? What do you know? You comment. I'm playing here.
Yeah.
I'm in charge. That's the attitude we want.
She's out in the field now, so let's see what happens with her team out on offense.
Stan with a great pull, considering the weather, the windy condition here in Edmonton. 1-to-1 defense played by the white jersey, but I believe there was an offside against Titane. So offside occurs when you're crossing the line before your teammate has thrown the disc. It's quite a simple rule to apply, but for some reason, some players are too enthusiastic. They're crossing the line, and they're being penalized for it. Short with the disc. Great pivot work. Oh, looking to do a quick dish to a teammate. Big, but miscuing zone defense. Play by Chain Reaction. Titane avec Guilbeault aux commandes. Passe à Héroux. Et Mayotte, la troisième de ce trio de passeurs québécoises, font un excellent travail. Guilbeault attrape le 10. Ramène de l'autre côté. On trouve l'affaire, le disque flotte. Oh, c'est tout juste hors de portée de la numéro 21, Sirois. Ça sera un revirement in favor of Durham. Bick acting as the quarterback of this break, of this offense hold that Durham is hunting for right now. Avarel with the disc. Floaty, but finding Warner. One-to-one defense. Dick giving some direction to her teammate, but holding it back. Safely feeds Avarel on her left-hand side. Floaty, blady disc, but oh, just too high for Meredith Short. She was kind of open, but just missed the opportunity. Titane qui remet le disque en jeu, alors qu'elles sont profondément dans leur zone, mais trouve l'ouverture rapidement. Milieu de terrain pour l'équipe québécoise. Guilbeault, qui a initié le mouvement offensif, a vu l'ouverture. Ça a été un bel enchaînement. Le Guilbeault qui n'a pu maîtriser cette passe. C'est un revirement. Contre-attaque. Ça part long. Dick. Put it long. Floaty. But, oh, just landing out of bounds. Not a bad decision, but just a little too far, a little too much gas on that long pass. Sometimes you miss your pass, sometimes you take the wrong decision, but this was a good decision, but it's very hard to complete those long passes considering those windy conditions. But Durham with another offense hold opportunity, which they are confirming, waiting for the observers. Yes, confirm Alba Bic scoring the 5th point by chain reaction, holding to a 4-point trailing right now.
So I think it was Mara Averell with the assist there. So it's nice to get some different players involved with the chain reaction offense. Similar to the end of the second half, I think their spacing and their timing looks pretty good on offense. They had a few shots into the end zone, which looked great. I agree with you, Etienne, on that deep look. I like the shot.
Yeah.
The receiver had lots of space, and yeah, it's when you don't have a ton of those opportunities, it's hard to adjust that throw in the wind. But I would say it was 2 meters shorter, and that was caught at the back of the end zone standing up. So great idea, and it was one that, although they didn't complete that pass, they did get possession back pretty quickly afterwards. So it's a great option for chain reaction to have that as
That could go wrong if you complete.
Yep.
Well, it's a point, and if you don't, well, you know,
Yep.
the other team has 70 yards before they're 70 yards away from your end zone. So it's not a bad decision.
Nope, not at all. And now they were able to punch in that next possession, and they have their defense out there looking to get their second break of the game. Try and go on a little run here.
For their second break point. Titane en réception de service. Lancé d'engagement effectué par Melissa Hahn. Beau lancer d'engagement, encore une fois, considérant les conditions climatiques, qui atterrit tout juste à l'extérieur du terrain. Là. Un point de 2 verges. Et on reprendra à la ligne de briques, qui est le X que vous voyez sur le terrain. Ce sera une défensive de zone jouée par Durham. C'est gagné avec une petite passe. Les passes sont courtes. On bouge le disque. On a gagné qui avait trouvé l'ouverture, mais ça manquait un peu de précision. Potentially a break point by Durham. About 30 yards, about midfield here. Dishing it on the left-hand side. Disc is picked up by the wind. It's everybody's disc. It ends up in Durham's number 33, Abigail Tao. And here's the break by chain reaction. They're 6 point, now trailing only by 3-1. Again, a reaction from chain reaction, celebrating that break point.
I think it's also important to highlight all the reactions on the on-field players on there. the scoring pass was definitely to its intended receiver, but I think the 3 passes before that all bounced over the head of the intended receiver, but because Chain Reaction's whole team was very engaged in the point, recognizing where the disc was, they were able to, as a team, catch all of those passes that ended up with a open score at the back of the end zone for them. And maybe seeing Short's predictions start to come true here in the second half with another break, making this a little bit closer. Now they have the chance to kind of go with the wind at their back for this next point.
So Chain Reaction still trailing, but they have some sort of momentum. They have scored 4 of the last 6 points. So, and I don't know about you, but I believe I'm seeing some question mark in Titane's body language right now. You're leading by 3, but what a powerful reaction to that last point. Makes you wonder. Let's see how Titane will handle. I suspect Chain Reaction will bring down a zone defense, which have caused a lot of problems to Titane's O-line so far. Bick with the pull. Le Titane qui est toujours dans le siège du conducteur, là, mais on voit le momentum semble du côté de Chain Reaction. Beau mouvement de disque d'entrée de jeu de cette possession. C'est Couillard là, qui, en milieu de terrain, le disque qui flotte. Oh, c'est bien récupéré par Verlan. Verlan qu'on a eu en entrevue à la mi-temps. Un des leaders de cette formation. Oh, ben, Verlan là, qui voulait saisir le disque d'une seule main ne peut le maîtriser. C'est un revirement en faveur de Chain Reaction. So an attempted one-hand grab by Verlan leading to a turnover in favor of Chain Reaction. Almost midfield. Bassett rehorse with the disc, but great defense by number 55, Samuel Charret, saying no. This disc is ours. Le numéro 6, Tremblay, qui alimente sa coéquipière milieu de terrain. Ça sera un autre revirement. C'était le numéro 16, Amelia Ray. C'est un autre revirement. Number 15, Alba Bick, will put the disc back into play. Going on the open side to reset. Meredith Short providing a great target in, but miscuing. Intended receiver was Bassett Rehorse. Titane en possession du disque. On exploite l'ouverture du côté ouvert. Beau mouvement, Couillard peine attrapé d'une seule main derrière elle de la numéro 5. Numéro 55, Charret maintenant avec le disque. Retient son geste. Remet sagement en soutien. Beau petit passé court à la porte des points. Le numéro 14 avec le disque Van Hove qui remet la passe, le disque. Après une courte passe, un petit revers là, pour sécuriser l'avance de 4 points de la part de Titane. Titane still in the driver's seat, scoring their 10th point, leading by 4, 10 to 6.
Yeah, once Titane gets the disc moving, it's really hard for the Chain Reaction defense to catch up. They have such depth throughout their whole team in terms of that throwing and catching skill that they're able to move it one after the other instead of having to wait for like that more confident handler to show up for the reset. It's usually going down through the field, through the whole line that's out there, which means their spacing can stay really well, and it's a lot of one-on-one that they have, which is a lot easier to throw against than one-on-2 or one-on-3. So they're really able to take advantage of that. They just had a couple drops earlier in the point, but we're able to get possession back and keep Chain Reaction from running too much of a break train right now, but they're going to come back out and try and get another hold here. Maybe a timeout call?
I suspect that there is.
Maybe
so I suspect also Titane is what a great relief scoring that point, because we've seen some question mark in their body language.
Yeah.
Momentum was in favor of Chain Reaction, but that 10th point, and it's kind of the psychological first double digit.
Yes,
when you're
absolutely.
in that zone, first team reaching out the double digit on the scoreboard. You know, it's okay. We're like 2/3 there. If we want to win at 15, we're, you know, in the right position.
Yeah, and especially going into the wind with that last point. So knowing we can score into the wind, so now we get to go downwind next time. Yeah.
Alors, c'est sans aucun doute un soulagement là, de la part de Titane d'avoir inscrit ce 10e point et l'espèce de barrière psychologique, la première équipe qui inscrit le 10e point, là, les deux chiffres sur le tableau indicateur, là, le 1-0. On sait que les matchs se terminent à 15, à moins qu'on manque de temps. Alors, on sait qu'on a le 2 tiers du chemin de parcourir. Et le momentum est en faveur de chain reaction. Là. C'est qui a été jusqu'à maintenant le seul point B de cette deuxième mi-temps. Great move by Titane, landing in chains reaction. Red zone quickly dishes it, moving upward near the break mark. It's a one-to-one defense played by Titane. Floaty disc, well read. Good effort by number 12, but just a little short. Cheddar Watson. Guilbeault prend les choses en main, pivote bien, cherche une option. Il va du côté ouvert pour rejoindre Héroux. Héroux toujours du côté revers. On force du côté bas. On veut forcer Titane à lancer avec le vent. Les entrappés auront la passe ici. Est-ce que ça a été partiellement bloqué? I believe it was partially blocked on the mark. Not sure. Nonetheless, turnover in favor of chain reaction, looking to secure this offense hold. At their own goal line, the white jerseys, 70 yards away from their 7th point. Titane playing a one-to-one defense. Sideways. Nice grab in the air. Still one-to-one defense played by Titane. We haven't seen much of that one-to-one defense, but so far I've been able to deny. But going long, just I was telling that they were holding the Rams O-line. They're going long, but it lands on the ground. Once again, not a bad decision, but the execution just felt short. Kaatol Logan was the intended receiver, but another turnover with some redemption opportunity by chain reaction hand, putting the disc back into play. Now it's Lee. Nice pass and run by A. Young. Looking for a reset. Finds a hole. Reaching out to Watson. Watson on the right-hand side, still A. Young taking charge of this offense possession. A. Young again being forced upwind, backhand by Titane. Being very, very patient. Tons of pass and run. It's all about chain reaction. Handlers and waiting for the confirmation. Yes, confirmed by the observers. Their 7th point chain reaction hanging in there, trailing by 3 with this 7.10-7 in favor of Titane.
Another great heads-up play by Delamata on the score there. Again, nice floaty pass, went over a teammate, then an opposition, and then finally was able to pull it down at the back of the end zone. So great job on the chain reaction squad for continuing to be hungry for the disc, trying to grab anything in the air that is for them, and being able to maintain that hold to kind of stay within that striking distance of the Titane team.
We have started this game at 12:30 Edmonton time. It's now 1:43, so we're almost an hour, 15 minutes into this game. Titane leading by 3.
A lot of familiar faces out on offense here for Titane. Showed a lot of poise at the beginning of the game for sure. Dropped off a little bit, but that last possession they had looked a lot more similar to what we saw at the beginning of the game. So we'll see what they bring out for this point here.
I'm a big fan of seeing an O-line holding hands with their little clapping, their little routine, saying, hey, girls, we got this. We know what to do. We've been there many times. So let's do what we know, what we're good at, which is keeping the disc, earn 70 yards, and score a point. Great grab by Couillard. That was very, very low. Zone defense by the Durham squad. Great disc movement. Some direction coming from the field and from the sideline. Oh, great attempt by number 11, but felt a little short. Catherine Warner. Verlan saving the day. Verlan, her again. Pass and run, flicking it in the end zone. Wow, what a nasty flick. Wicked, but just a little too much gas. The intended receiver was Clara Ray. Clara Ray and Amelia Ray. Their mother is the legendary Alison Fisher, based out of Montreal. And think of a tournament, international tournament. She played it or she coached it. She coached probably every national team over the course of the last 10, 15 years. A super committed and talented coach and players. And now her two daughters competing in the national scene. Une belle tentative de passe là, qui était pour la numéro 24. Viviane Ouellette, mais c'est hors de portée, c'est mis hors d'atteinte par le vent. C'est Durham qui reprendra le match. Mettra le disque en jeu à sa propre ligne de points pendant qu'on entend la sirène qui annonce la fin du match. Donc on terminera le point. Just heard the horn signaling that we will finalize the point, that will be the end of the game. Why are we finalizing the point? Well, you know, if there's a double header or a tie, then the point differential will help classify who moves on and who is staying still. But the last point belongs to Titane.
So with
11 point.
Yeah. So it's Titane's 11 point. That being soft cap, we add 1 to that score. So this will be a game to 12 points. So either Titane scores 1 more or chain reaction needs 5 in a row.
Mathematically, 5 in a row is possible. If you're super optimistic, it's possible. Realistically speaking, it's okay to have some doubts.
It's a challenge.
It's a challenge. But we got to give credit to Titane for scoring the first 4 points. But let's give a lot of credit also to Durham for coming back in this game and hanging in there.
Those 4 points at the beginning of the game are the difference of the game right now, really, right? So, yeah, team reaction came out a little bit flat, but showed very much that they can play with Titane for the rest of the game, and I'm sure they're going to try and finish as strong as they've been playing the last 2/3 of the game. Need some short optimism right now. I'm sure they're all on the line feeling the same thing. We can do this. We can get this point just 1 at a time.
Nice, floaty, deep pull, but falling out of bounds. Maybe a yard and a half out. So will be put back into play while we are witnessing a nice wrestling battle. 3 people are wrestling a tent that's flowing in the wind. I think the players are looking to win that wrestling match. Stay tuned. In the meantime, on the field, Guilbeault, à la ligne des points. Quel match elle a connu, Guilbeault? Oh, voilà, la passe à elle-même. Oh, je ne suis pas certain que c'était ce qui était prévu, mais c'est le numéro 113, Camille Héroux. Et voilà, qui inscrit le 12e point. Et ça sera un point bris en conclusion de ce match. A break point to conclude this action by Titane, now leading 12-7.
Absolutely. And just like the beginning of the game when we talked about Gubo and how calm she was with the disc and how much she was relied on by her teammates there, was able to kind of run their end zone set there for them as well and get the assist on the final point for Titane.
So many players have a great impact on the game, and on Titane's side, Gilbo, number 12, le numéro 12, là, qui a vraiment eu un impact significatif là, pendant qu'on voit les deux équipes qui se serrent les mains. Pointage final, Titane qui l'emporte par le pointage de 12-7 contre Chain Reaction. There was also Meredith Short who had an amazing game.
Yeah.
Also Alba Bick, which had a great impact also on the output of this game. So that was the second appointment on a web stream schedule. There will be a third game coming up for you, so stay tuned. And it was a pleasure to call the game with you.
Absolutely, you too,
So
Etienne.
looking forward for more action here at the National Championship Junior Division. Stay tuned and take care. And, in the meantime, grab a coffee and go outside. Throw some disc. It's summertime. Take care. Cheers.
Bye-bye. See you later.
Stage to keep possession. Huge bid, gets the done. It's a great opportunity for the Germans, and they break it. He throw it the full 80 yards to the field. Are you kidding me? And an incredible catch. You are kidding me. Oh my God! One of the